All right, let's dive right in. Top five stories of AI this week, and there's some doozies coming in here for sure. So, first off, we knew this was coming. Anthropic files their first IPO, a $965 billion valuation, just below a trillion, which is an insane number. I don't think anybody can really wrap their head around other than big. But this is pretty incredible, and that's a lot of money to put out there. As I've talked about, now we have three almost $1 trillion valuations out on the market. So that's $3 trillion. I'm not sure there's that much money in the world. So somebody's going to lose here. But Anthropic being profitable, showing their way through. I think that again, this is not financial advice, but Anthropic and SpaceX come out the winner on these IPO game this year, is the way I see it. Interesting move here. Project Polaris in Microsoft breaks up with OpenAI. So, if you didn't know, Microsoft was a fairly large investor in OpenAI early on. They've now launched Project Polaris, which is an in house AI coding model replacing ChatGPT and inserting that into Copilot. Uh, so, this is a completely different architecture than what they were building. This is a multi-agent execution across Windows 365 and Azure systems, and it's MIT licensed, an open source agentic framework that is released here that Microsoft is building on. This is a massive shift, and there was a lot of money that was invested in OpenAI or planned to be invested in OpenAI, and this seems like a pretty major shift from Microsoft leaving that. Another black eye, I think, in the OpenAI IPO. If you haven't caught on to the agentic game, and I'm going to do a couple sessions on this in the AI playbook, you're starting to fall behind, apparently. So 97% of executives deployed AI agents in the past year. 72% of agentic AI is now in production. That's a 327% increase in multi-agent systems over the past 4 months. What we've seen with Claude Cowork and even now Gemini Spark and some others, we are on the rise of agentic AI. And the difference is coming from chat, which is kind of a one-off, give it a large prompt, get an action out of it, to an agent, which gives us a multi-step approach to perform and execute actions, is a big leap from a productivity perspective. I've deployed a whole team of agents myself. It's been amazing. I've been using it for about 3 months now, and it's absolutely changed the way I've been able to go to market and the amount of work I can take on. We are in the agentic era without a doubt, and it's going to accelerate pretty quickly as people realize the productivity and actually how to deploy these in the environment. So, we've gone from is agents actually real to who goes first. But I think we can move from who goes first to who has the most agents pretty quickly. The model race was incredible this week. Claude Opus 4.8, GPT 5.5, Gemini Flash, and hardware leaps all happened this week. I've been playing with Opus 4.8 on my coding side of things. It's a game changer. It's very different than 4.7. It's huge, and it showed to in the indexes to outperform GPT 5.5. And I think there's more to come. I feel like Anthropic's holding back a little bit. But it's, then OpenAI with GPT 5.5 instant fought back, and we'll see where they end up going now that they're have this coding push, and the code is generating its own code. We'll see what's going to happen in terms of the move there. But this is, it's funny that the models and the frontier models are actually speeding up, not slowing down. Although, I mean, we had a couple other things that hit into this. There was an executive order that had stated that a 30-day window for the frontier models to give the models to the government for testing before release. And actually, Dario from Anthropic did call for a global slowdown of this development, but I don't know if anything like that is going to happen. Then Gemini and Google, they came on really strong. There's, really to think about what they did there, Google I/O is typically 100 different announcements, and there were a lot of announcements, but I really think it was one announcement, and it is Google is going full AI, and they've interspersed that into all of their tools, including search and ads and everything. And so what you saw was how that AI model is being deployed within the infrastructure of Google, which is massive and huge. So I think it was a major release, but it also has massive implications for search and geo and ad serving from Google as well. Finally, the AI infrastructure betting window is open. I don't know if I'd call this a betting window. We need infrastructure. We're behind on infrastructure, but infrastructure is being built across the globe now. SoftBank is buying into a 5 gigawatt data center in France. It's huge. I think it's at the size of like 4 football fields, something like that. 80 billion in equity raised for AI infrastructure globally, and the largest single Microsoft government contract ever in 9.69 billion for the Department of Defense. So the money is going into AI and infrastructure now, and that includes energy and other places like that. That's where it needs to be spent to get the capacity on these things. I don't think this slows down. I just don't. I think that you're going to see more and more of this as things go forward. So quite a week. There's a race to public markets. The investment keeps getting just ungodly huge. I think it is notable, though, that, if you look at the economy and you start to piece it apart, AI is what's holding us up in the United States. And the AI and the investment around it is where things seem to be playing most. So I would say that this is probably one of the biggest things that go on as we go forward. You're going to see an acceleration of this, acceleration of capability, an acceleration of investment into this world, just because it's a game changer, and that's the way it works. But enjoy. Hopefully this was helpful. And I'll look for some of my agentic trainings coming up here in the next couple of weeks. I'll get those recorded and onto the AI cookbook for you, so you can start to set up your own agentic system.